If you're one of those players who hates Katarina, then don't worry. She's pretty much dog shit now. I had a quick look at the patch notes for her, and man, they've really nerfed that character into the ground. As far as I can see, we're gonna have to take a closer look at it in a different video. But a character that I also like that they've done some really interesting and fun stuff with is Alisa. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Some pretty cool changes coming up, so this is going to be interesting. First of all, for Alisa, her rage art has its distance traveled backwards during animation decrease, and I think all this means is that currently her rage art will create these Harada moments where it just bugs and all of a sudden you're behind your opponent when you do it, and that's probably not intentional. So I think this is a little bit of a bug fix to her rage art, and that's fine. I think that was probably necessary. Next, hitbox extended downward for her standing 2, which is just this little jab attack here. It's not a very significant attack, except for the fact that it's a part of your Punisher 2-4 that you're going to use for hop kicks and stuff. But almost any scenario where you would use this as a spin move, you'd be using back 2-4 instead, because it does 1 more damage, and it's a mid, so it's just easier to hit with. So it's not a super significant change. I don't know why it was considered necessary. Who knows? Moving on, it's going to get interesting. 2-3, damage increased from 7 to 8. So the second hit of this string had its damage buffed a little bit. That might not sound super significant, but it sort of goes deeper. The way you use this 2-3 string right now is if we set Lars to second action all guard here, you can see that the first hit hits and then he blocks the rest. So it's not natural, right? Like that. But if I hit with the second hit only, I get the third hit guaranteed, and I can even delay that second hit quite a bit and still get the string natural, which means that you can use this as a delay catch for wall splats, and it's pretty cool for that. But one thing that you're not doing with the string currently is spinning in combos, but that is theoretically something that you could do here. Now moving on. 2-3-3, damage changed from 20 to 25. So the last hit of this string has gone from 20 damage to 25. So you get 1 more damage on the second hit, 5 more damage on the third hit. All of a sudden, this is a pretty high damage string. And now attack comes out 1 frame slower. So this last 3 here is going to come out 1 frame slower. That might sound like a nerf, but I have a feeling I actually know what they're doing here. Okay, this is like a current max damage combo with Alisa, right? You're going to do this thing, but this ender, while it has good damage, gives you no potential at all for wall conversions. You can't do anything to modify that ender. It's really crappy for that reason. It's only good for damage. And so what I think they're going to try and do here is give you this 2-3-3 as a mid-range, pretty decent damage spin option for your combos. And the reason, if that's the case, that this third kick needs to be 1 frame slower is, for example, look at this scenario. Yeah, you see the kick is too fast and it goes under the opponent right there. So if that was 1 frame slower, then maybe that would hit perfectly and it would be a more useful spin move. Now you can obviously, even in this scenario, delay that last hit just a little bit and you're going to get the spin just fine. But I have a feeling what Namco are trying to tell you is that they want you to use this as a combo option and a spin move, not just a wall splat move in Season 2. And I think that's potentially very interesting because it's like a mid-range good damage option that you're going to be able to use and still get conversions to the wall. So for example, if I'm just going to improvise here, say that I launch my opponent from this range and I do something like I mean, look at that. And then you have to imagine that that spin move that I just did, the 2-3-3, had more damage, 1 more damage on the second hit, 5 more damage on the third hit, so a lot more damage, and it's just a great mid-range spin tool now. So I think you've got a new combo tool here for Alisa, and I think it's really interesting. I think that's the sort of subtext that I see as an Alisa player when I look at these changes anyway. Next, 4-2-1 is now chains, it says, which means that this string is going to be natural. So if you have a look at this string, you can see it's not natural right now, but this is going to be natural, and it's a very powerful knockdown mid, so it's potentially very good. This 4-2 by itself is long range, it's fast. Getting a high damage extension like that right there is potentially powerful, so this is another buff. Changed from -20 to -14 on block, so it's gone from being very launch punishable to not launch punishable at all for most of the casts. That's a substantial buff as well. Opponent closer on block, opponent closer on hit, so less pushback. So yeah, it's a huge buff to this string. Really interesting stuff. It's kind of like a legit mix-up tool now. And then the 4-2 by itself, you have extended hitbox downwards. I think that this already had good hitbox, but now it's going to have an even better hitbox. So great stuff. And then 4-2, 3-3. This thing is now going to do more damage, 22 from 20 damage to 22 damage. The last hit, that is, because like I said, when they give you the full string, they're talking about the last hit. And this now causes wall bounce on hit. This is Alisa's wall bounce move. So this is going to become a pretty thick lasagna right here, because you're looking at potentially a new bread and butter combo for Alisa in wall conversion situations. So say, for example, again, I launch from this range and I do something like this. I can then get this string. See, I didn't even have to move up closer. I can do it from probably mid-screen right here. The wall carry on this is just insane. One more time. Look at that. So, I mean, this is a big stage, and this has too much wall carry that I can't even get the intended ender here. But if I was just slightly further away, that third hit right there is going to cause that wall bounce and cause the opponent to bounce back. So first of all, you have to imagine that the spin move is doing more damage. The 4-2-3-3 was buffed. That's going to do more damage. It is so extremely easy to do and has such good wall carry that you don't actually have to dash a single time during this entire combo. It just hits, and it's going to hit on a wall stage as well. If the wall is there, it's going to bounce the opponent off. You're going to do it like a back 2-4 to re-wall splat them and then get another wall ender. So I think you're looking at new bread and butter stuff for Alisa, because with the damage buffs to these moves, that's going to be plus 60 damage. It's going to be super consistent, and you have the conversion options, because like I said, if you just do this, they're right there. You can run up and do whatever you want for the conversion. So super cool. And I mean, this, I'm just improvising when I do forward 2 down forward 1 here. You might be able to do different stuff that does even more damage. Who knows? You might even be able to do like down forward 1-1 here. And who knows? But the super interesting stuff happening with our combo game, and I think, again, I sort of see what's happening a little bit below the surface with these changes, and I really like what I'm seeing so far, because the big change at least I needed was more convertible mid-range combo options. So I really like it. Okay, next change, down forward 1, pushback decreased, so it's easier to hit is what it says. So it's potentially a nerfed, a buff to her. I hope I'm not messing those words up too much. I think this is a buff to your down forward 1. It's one of your main mid pokes, so that's good. Down forward 1+2. Changed to power crush. This is another insanely cool thing. So this move right here is a power crush now. It's going to have armor in Season 2. Not only that, they've made it available from destructive stance, so when you're in destructive stance, you can now perform that move, this move, when you already have the chainsaws out, and it's going to have the armor, so you now have a powerful knockdown power crush for destructive stance right there as well. This is so cool. Let's go over to the wall here. And you can see it doesn't give you the wall splat properties, which is very good when you have a power crush. But again, it's interesting. Startup changed from 18 to 19, so it's slightly slower to come out. Changed from -11 to -14 on block, so you're going to have to eat a heavier punish for getting it blocked in exchange for the armor property. I think that's fair. Opponent closer on block, recovery increased by 1 frame on hit, so it's easier to follow up on this, probably getting your guaranteed down, destructive down ones and so on. But again, new power crush, really cool stuff. So I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Just fun, super cool new options for this character, right? Down 4, opponent closer on block, so they're going to be closer when they block this. Not a super big change. There's a lot of lows in the game who have this, just skimming through the changes. Opponent closer on block, opponent closer on block, so I think they want lows to be easier and more consistent to punish. Maybe just as a sort of umbrella change to the whole game in Season 2. But yeah, who knows until we get the actual thing. Next page. Down for 1+2. This again, a buff, a significant buff. This move is a spin move mainly right now, but this high right here is going to give you +2 on block. It's going from -1 frame to +2. So this is a tool that you're going to have to be able to use to collect plus frames right now. And unprepared people who don't know how to deal with this string are going to eat mad counter hits after that. So really cool. So that's a buff again. Recovery decreased by 3 frames on hit, so it's better on recovery. And this is good for Alisa because right now when she's spinning with this move, it's a little bit awkward to follow up with combos because of the slow recovery, so it's going to make that an easier to use combo tool as well. So again, buffs to her combo tools. And what else did it say? Input window changed from 18 to 28. So you're going to be able to do this and wait for like a whole minute before you actually input the 1+2. You're going to be able to delay it quite a bit. And I think that's nice. Right now you can't really do that. So overall buffs to this move, who knew? Really cool. Next, down 3+4, opponent closer on block. So it's a nerf to her Snake Edge. That's fine. You can remove this move as far as I'm concerned. It's not something that I tend to use with Alisa. Well, in some specific cases, when you get a knockdown with the third hit of this thing, let's try and get only the third hit. Nope. That, and then I didn't do the actual Snake Edge. The Snake Edge right there is a really good follow-up for some guaranteed damage a lot of the time, but again, it's not something that I care about, and if you want to make it more easy to punish, then be my guest. Next, down back 2-2, opponent reaction on a mid-air hit was changed. Now, down back 2-2 is this no-speed stun thing that you can use if your opponent is a scrub to set up a massive guaranteed combo if they don't break this stun, right? So what you do is you do this, you do that, and then you do this, and you get, what, like 88 damage. So basically you take the round if they don't break this no-speed stun on hits, but they will. But now, this has changed properties when the opponent is hit while airborne, and what I hope this means that you can use that. As you can see, it's a pretty decent damage option. If you can do that as a little combo filler for some damage, then you have another good mid-range convertible combo option for Alisa here. So what did I do earlier? I did this for 2, down for 1 for 29. So say for example I do this like this instead. That's 33, so that's just 4 damage. That's categorically better. And can I get to 3-3 here maybe? Let's have a look. Okay, I can't, but there might be a way to use this as a combo filler now that it's going to have different properties when it hits the opponent in the air. And if that becomes possible to do into this, into that, into 2-3-3, which I think is very possible, then you're looking at a new combo for down for 2 here again. So very interesting stuff happening with your combo game. Next, down back 3, opponent closer on block. Down back 4, opponent closer on block. So this is this weird umbrella change to lows that we're seeing. Back 3 now causes screw on mid-air hits. So this move, high damage hit, 26 damage, is a screw move now, or a corkscrew. So you're going to be able to use this as a combo to also say, for example, maybe this isn't going to work, right? What should we do here? That's way too slow. Okay, let's try. Let's just do a jab to demonstrate. So you're definitely going to be able to get that in combos. It's a little bit slow to come out, but it's such high damage that even after a hop kick right there, if that's going to cause a spin, it's going to be a decent option. So this is another spin move option for you in combos, and it might be potentially interesting. Who knows if it's going to be better than, you know, the back 2-4, the 2-3-3, the stuff that you already have. But there might be a couple of combos where this is your best option, so that's going to be something to lab when it comes out, but it's another buff to your combo game. Back 4-3. Damage changed from 15 to 20, so the second hit of this string was just 15, currently is going to do 20, so another buff. This is a good move. You can use this to spike opponents at the wall. It's a natural string, it's punishable. The first hit is a good counter hit tool for Alisa. So this is another substantial buff. You use it for floor breaks with her a lot, and that's potentially interesting because you're going to be able to get more damage when you floor break with her now. So again, it's pretty much a buff to her combo game again, and it just keeps on coming with the buffs to Alisa's combo game. I really like it. Next, up forward 3, recovery decreased by 5 frames on hit and block. So this thing where she lands here, I'm guessing it's going to recover 5 frames faster. Slight buff, not too significant. Forward 3-4, opponent further away on block. So this is this string. This is going to push the opponent further away on block. Now, let me explain why I think they've done this. I have a feeling I know. It seems like a weird and sort of specific change, but you can see it doesn't do much pushback there. And currently, when you use this move against Yoshimitsu, he can punish this move with Flash, meaning that one of your most important gap closers becomes launch punishable against Yoshimitsu. It's very, very dangerous. And I think now that this has more pushback on block, he's not going to be able to punish that with the Flash anymore, so you've suddenly had your matchup against Yoshi dramatically improved. I don't know if that's something you needed, but I kind of liked that because the matchup was pretty crappy because of that. And yeah, so it's another little buff potentially to this move, so I like that too. And that's my guess as to why they did it, but I'm, like you see, like as an Alisa player, I'm trying to sort of read between the lines here a little bit. Okay, while rising 1-2 now transitions into destructive form. So this string right here can transition into destructive. So if you're using this as a block punish, you have the option of doing the 1-2 and then 1+2 right there, and she's gonna do that and get the chainsaws out. So it's a slight buff, it's a new transition, it's not too significant, but it's definitely not bad. While rising 3, opponent recovery increased by 2 frames on block. Opponent closer on block. So this is this crappy Clockwork stance thing. This thing, the first hit of this, where she goes into Clockwork. This is almost not used at all currently. So this string would have to see some significant change for it to become a useful tool for Alisa. During Clockwork 3, homing increased. So Clockwork 3, that has improved homing properties now apparently. Again, unless the string becomes a normal part of your game somehow. This isn't going to be huge. During Clockwork down 3, homing increased. When hit by opponent during startup, status changes from aerial to standing. So if you do this and the opponent hits you during the stand-up of that low, your status is going to go from airborne to standing apparently. And again, I don't know what they're trying to go for with this hit. Maybe I'm missing something here and there's some significant thing you can do here to use this in your combo game somehow. Maybe you're going to be spinning with Clockwork in the future somehow. Who knows? It's unlikely as far as I can tell, but it's definitely not impossible. I guess just as like an experiment, I guess maybe you could do that. Yeah, and it does work. It is good damage. Who knows? During sidestep 4, opponent closer on block. So it's another low where the opponent's going to be closer on block. Changed from -1 to +2 on hit. So you can start offense using sidestep 4 now. Really cool. So you can like evade something, jump in, get that low, and now you're at plus frames and you can go into a mix-up. Really, really nice. During sidestep 4, 1+2, opponent closer on hit. So that you see that dramatic pushback the move has right now on the last hit. That's not going to happen. So the opponent's going to be right in your mug after that happens. Who knows if that's going to be significant? I'm going to guess not, but who knows? While enemies down back 1+2. So the missile hand, this thing. This is something that you use after spikes, and you can use it as a combo ender in some situations. Changed from -17 to -14, so this is another good buff to a good move that you have. It's not going to be launch punishable except for some specific characters. Opponent closer on block, so if they block this, they're not going to be pushed back as much. Which means that they probably get a more consistent punish, but they have to punish 14 instead of -17. So it's a less powerful punish, but it's probably easier to do. So a little give and take situation right there. During destructive form 3 or 4, move can no longer be performed consecutively. And this is the first really significant nerf to Alisa that we're seeing, because it means that you can't do this to jiggle her boobs anymore. And I don't know why that needed to be changed. I think this is funny. They really don't bounce that much when you do this anyway. They kind of go stale. When she's just standing like this and you move around normally, they actually bounce a lot more. Which is weird because they're supposed to be made of metal, right? Maybe it's some sort of like rubbery alloy, who knows? But she has very bouncy tits for a robot. But I think you're not going to be able to do this anymore, which is maybe sad, but I'm not sure I care. I just kind of like this. It's a goofy thing you could do with her, but why would you nerf it out of the game? Who knows? During destructive form 1, opponent closer on hit for attack 1 through 6. So it's this move, you know, it's a consecutive 7-hit string here, and the reason they've done this is that when you hit with this at some ranges, it pushes the opponent out like this, as you can see right here, and I only get 4 hits. Sometimes you only get 1 or 2, you see here? And so this is going to push the opponent back less, meaning that you're going to get all of your hits more consistently. You see, I get different hits every time here. 7 hits that time. Let's do it from here and see what happens. Okay, so 7 hits, 7 hits, 3 hits, 7 hits again, 4 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits, so it's completely random. And hopefully you're going to get your 7 hits consistently because of decreased pushback. It's another buff. Basically buffs all the way. I don't think we've seen a single nerf for this character so far. It's really, really fun. Next, what do we have? Destructive. No. During dual boot 1, opponent closer on block for attack 1 through 6. Okay, so dual boot 1 is the name for when she's flying with chainsaws. So it's this attack, and this has the sort of same properties as the move we checked out. The last move, this thing. So both of these moves are just going to consistently keep the opponent inside the hitbox, so you get all the hits consistently, and I think that's cool. So it's another buff to Chainsaw there. Dual Boot 1 is not a move you use a whole lot, but it has situational use, I guess. Dual Boot 1 plus 2, so this move changed from -5 to ±0 on block, so it's another big buff to Chainsaws. So that's pretty cool. I like this move. You can use it currently to get some guaranteed damage in a couple of knockdown situations, which is pretty cool. But now you're going to be at ±0, which means that you can do this, get it blocked, and then go straight into, for example, a destructive stance 1 right there, and a lot of opponents are going to eat that because they don't know that you're ±0. You might even be able to use to set up counter hits, who knows. Okay. During destructive form down 1, changed from -2 to +3 on hit, so this gives you, instead of -2 +3, it's an improvement of 5 frames. So this is a lot better on hit right now. It's a substantial buff to this move. So it looks like they're actually buffing chainsaws overall, which is really nice because they're situational right now. But I think they should be a more essential part of Alisa because they're so unique and interesting, and such a big and weird stance for her. It would be weird to have like half of her move list locked away in a stance that doesn't get used, you know? During destructive form back 1-2, this is not a move that sees a lot of use. Opponent closer on block for attack 2 through 4. So again, that's probably going to do less pushback and give you all the hits of the string more consistently. So it's another buff to chainsaws. And then last move, during destructive form, up forward 3+4 or down 3+4. Okay, I know what they're talking about. They're talking about the electric sidestep. So during this, you have this one attack, and this has recovery decreased by 10 frames, and it has a lot of recovery right now, so that's good. Changed from -20 to -10 on blocks. This has gone from being very launch punishable to almost not punishable at all. So it's a huge buff again, and she can do this out of dual boot as well, as you probably know, like this, which is a really cool evasive maneuver. And I love this. She's kind of like a big insect when she's jumping around here, and this one is now substantially buffed as well. That's going to be the last move for Alisa, but as far as I can tell, she didn't have a single nerf, and everything she got made sense. It's not going to break the character. If you dislike Alisa right now, don't worry, it's not going to shoot her to the top of the tier list or anything, but I think it's going to give her a lot of help in her combo game, and I think it's going to make her destructive form, her chainsaw stance, more useful. And now that one of my characters, Katarina, has been nerfed through the floor, the fact that another one that I really like to play has become a lot more interesting is great for me. So I'm actually looking forward to playing a lot of Alisa starting season 2, and based on the changes I've seen so far, she might actually be the first character I jump onto, because I really like almost everything they did, except for the fact that you can't chainsaw jiggle your boobies anymore, but that's just something that you're gonna have to deal with if you're an Alisa main. Thank you for watching this one. Look forward to the next character who we're going to talk about. Maybe Alisa, maybe Paul, maybe Noctis, who knows? Probably not Noctis. I don't think anybody cares about Noctis. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys again very soon.